Hey, Patty Lou, welcome to the show. As a way of getting started, tell us about yourself.
Well, thanks so much, Brian Burns. It's great to be here. I really appreciate this opportunity. A little bit about myself. I have been in sales my whole life, basically starting at a very young age. Um, I was somebody who was loving competition, and if there was a way for me to win something, I wanted to do it. And so if I needed to sell something in order to win, then I would do that. So I basically have been in a sales role forever, and I'm not a spring chicken. I feel like I'm 21, but I'm not.
Yeah. What do you sell today?
I am at a sales executive at Patient News, and it's a dental marketing company. So for the past 14 years, I have sold dental marketing to dentists all over North America.
What's dental marketing?
Believe it or not, dentists need to market themselves. I know that sounds crazy because I know as a consumer and you go into a dental office, you see all the files in the back and you think, how could they possibly need another patient?
Yeah.
They need patients just the same as any company needs business. So we create marketing that educates the consumer on the importance of their oral health and also educates those patients of record for the doctor who are already patients of the doctor. So we create marketing to generate new growth from the community as well as to keep the patients in the chairs and in the practice that they belong to.
You must like it. You've been there a while. Huh?
I love it.
Yeah.
I actually love it. I really enjoy my job. I love my clients. I love the fact that I'm promoting health is basically the bottom line, because your oral health linked to systemic health is very important. And the more that we know about that, the healthier our society can be. There's a lot of sicknesses and illnesses that are a result of poor oral hygiene. So having a good mouth is good.
Yeah. Everybody loves going to the dentist too.
They absolutely hate it.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what is it like? Because you have to market to the dentists
Themselves,
themselves. Yeah.
right.
Not the office manager.
Well, that too. It depends on
Yeah.
who's the decision maker, and I know that that's a topic that's brought up quite a bit. And in the dental office, it can be a combination of people that are the decision makers.
Yeah.
So that's
And
not always
getting their time is hard because
exactly,
that's what they sell is their time.
exactly. And it's
Yeah.
very difficult to get connected to the dentist necessarily. But that's obviously the goal for me, is to always speak with the dentists themselves.
And what's your territory?
North
Is
America.
the whole
Yeah,
continent?
anywhere, anywhere. Yes, it's beautiful. We don't have to break down in our company. They don't break it down into individual areas. They might give us some uh, contests and say, okay, I want you to take Florida, I want you to take Chicago or Illinois, I want you to take, and let's see what you can get from those areas. But on the whole, I can call any dental office in North America.
So how do you possibly prioritize your time?
Um, we have the CRM Salesforce, and we are able to move the clients through that CRM and prioritize based on their hotness, if you will. For myself, I think one of the secrets, not a secret to my success, is that I like to talk to people and I'm very personable. I don't have a problem picking up the phone and making that call, cold call or otherwise. So for whatever reason, I have a gut instinct when somebody is hotter than somebody else. And I prioritize by keeping on those hot leads, those hot prospects until they sign.
Okay, so you do get inbound then, or
Very
is it,
rarely,
do
very
you?
rarely. It's mostly outbound.
Okay,
Yeah.
but help me. I mean, there's got to be how many dentists are there in North America? There's a
Oh
lot, right?
gosh, thousands and thousands. I really don't know the numbers, isn't that terrible? I should know, but there's thousands and thousands and thousands.
So where do you decide to start in the morning? I mean,
Um,
how does
making
one
making
dentist
the
look better than the other?
I will go through a website, for example, and like just pull somebody up in the system. Sometimes I don't do it normally like other people, I don't think. I will go for names. Let's say I was looking up Dr. Brian Burns. Then I will go and look in our system for any leads by the name Burns.
Yeah.
And if they're not taken by any other sales exec, then I'll call all those Burns. But I'll go to your website and take a look at your website. Is there anything in there that I can relate to this dentist? so that when I do get on the phone, if I do get the dentist, I can have that conversation with them or find that connection somehow and have the conversation. But it is a kind of hit and miss, to be honest.
It must be a lot of detective work because I would
Yeah,
think you probably look at the youngest dentists because they're the ones that need new clients. Because I would
it's
think
a
it's a word of mouth market.
both. I actually prefer, if you will, and any young dentist listening, don't listen. I actually
There's a lot
prefer,
of dentists that listen to the
yeah.
podcast.
I prefer the more mature dentist because he or she may still see value in direct marketing. And direct marketing is really what really pushes the patients into the dental practice.
Yeah,
It is that opportunity to have something in your hand, to read about it in the privacy of your own home, to educate yourself as the consumer to go to the dentist. But the new young dentists today, a lot of them are just strictly digital. And yes, you can have an impact with digital marketing. There's no question about it. But it's a different impact than direct mail when it comes to a patient.
yeah. And what are dentists like to sell to?
You hope they're not watching. Uh, they're good, you know.
Tell the truth.
The brutal
The
truth.
brutal truth, not the.
Well, unfortunately, they haven't been taken through business school, if you will. They go to the
Yeah,
dentist school. They learn everything they need to about dentistry, but not necessarily the business aspect. So that could be a difficult thing for them to grasp, that they need to invest in order to grow.
yeah.
They'll do it. They'll buy a shiny new object worth, thousands and thousands. But then when they look at the marketing aspect, it's a little more challenging. They don't necessarily.
That's it because they, at least the last time I went, they all have the newest toys,
Oh yeah,
and I'm sure they cost a lot of money.
a lot of money. Yeah, they
Yeah.
always have to have the newest toy.
And they've gotten very smart because they have a bunch of chairs and one dentist. So
Yeah,
they're like trying to get the dentist only goes in at the right time,
time. Oh yes, yes,
the setup and
yeah.
everything.
If the office is managed properly, that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Um, so what's the hardest part of your job?
Oh gosh, the hardest part I would say is actually getting some of them to believe that what I'm telling them is going to benefit them.
Yeah.
For them to understand that, yes, no, there is a return on investment, that this really does work. And we've got all the tools in place to provide them that return on investment.
And how do you get them on the phone? Because I'm sure they're busy during 9 to 5. Is that true? Or,
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly. They're busy all the time. If I'm able to make a connection at all with the gatekeeper, and I have the opportunity to get a cell phone, then we can text now. Texting is much more the
Huge.
norm than not. And it didn't used to be, but now it is. So if I could text, then they can answer me at any time, and that's a great thing. And I don't mind working around the clock, if you will.
Yeah.
When you get a text, you're in sales. You're open for business 24/7.
Yeah. And let's see, where do you find, I mean, in Canada, does a socialized medicine affect it? But they still need to market, right?
They still need to market.
Yeah.
Every dental office needs to market.
Yeah.
They have a huge attrition rate, 15 to 20% per office per year.
Really?
Yeah. So in order to keep the practice growing, they need to be bringing in new patients consistently.
And is there a lot of dentists being pumped out of dental school?
Yes, all kinds.
Really?
Lots and lots. Yeah, all the time, all the time.
Hmm.
But then you have your people retiring, and you have, there's new offices going in all the time in different locations. It's never a bad time to start the business if you do it right. Like any business, right? If you
Yeah.
do it right.
And have you found a correlation between geography and your success or?
Yes, actually. Yeah, there's certain areas that seem to be more open to hearing what we have to say and then implementing our programs.
Yeah.
You've got your core cities like your Chicago, Boston. We've just branched out and started attending the Colorado Dental Show, and generating leads from there. Your California, your Texas, your Florida. You've got your major states, and in Canada, it's more. Ontario has the highest number of clients for us. Ontario and BC.
So it's metropolitan areas
Yeah,
versus
right,
rural
right.
areas.
But the
Yeah.
rural areas do extremely well. I mean, if I could just do rural areas, they do so well. But they
It-
just, again, it's that business concept and understanding you have to invest to
yeah.
get a return.
And how about as far as the personalities, either that you work best with or most supportive? We already mentioned a more mature dentist, but have you seen any other correlation?
Um, the ones that are the know-it-alls, that
No.
they're very hard to work with,
Right.
right? Because you have to just kind of sit back and take it and listen and get your advice in when you can. But otherwise, yeah, the people that are more open to conversation with me are the ones that I obviously excel with.
Yeah. And how do you keep the deal moving? So I can see like you tell they want to know who you are, what you do, how's it work,
Yeah.
what do
So
they
we do
get
have
out?
a process that we follow, which is really good. I mean, you have to have a good process. It is creating that sense of urgency with them. If you don't do it now, what are you going to be like in 3 months from now? Because with the dental business, it's in the future, it's not immediate. So whatever marketing you implement now is going to benefit you in 2 and 3 months.
Yeah.
But they usually call. If they're going to call at all, it's like, okay, I'm going to jump off the bridge yesterday. What can you do for me now? But
Right.
those calls are not as often as I want them. I don't want them to be in that situation anyway. But um, um, there I go.
Is there a trigger event like
Super brain.
season or
Yeah, they usually the beginning of the year is a busier time. January is often the best time, and that's
yeah,
because they know as well that a lot of people base their dental or medical appointments based on, what is it, New Year's resolutions. This is the year I'm going to be healthy. This is the year I'm going to take care of my teeth. And so then more patients are more likely to go to the practice, so you can market and get a really good response. They think nobody goes in the summer, so they don't want to market in the
in the
summer, but
summer? That was a
everybody
big
goes every time, all year, 12 months
right.
of the year. Like, this depends on how busy you want to be, right?
Right. And some people can't get the time off. So they have to do it
No,
on
right. But then
yeah.
that's where the dental industry has changed, and that they're having appointments prior to 7 a.m. and after 7 p.m. Like, dental offices are open. A lot of great dental offices are open before and after hours.
Wow.
That's key today if you want to be successful.
And what do you think differentiates yourself as a salesperson?
I think, my colleagues are all great. I love them and they do a great job. And most of the sales team that has come through the company has been awesome. I don't know. I think that my sales come from being able to have that conversation with somebody, being
And
authentic.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, But you weren't born with that skill. How did you develop it?
I'm not too sure. I
Really? It
seem
came
to have
out,
been
you
able,
happened?
I think I did. I had colic when I was a kid. That was probably me trying to talk. Um, I think just I'm a people person, and I
Yeah.
always have been. And from a very young age, I've enjoyed being with people and talking with people and learning from them. And I think that skill has just developed through the years with being open to conversation. And I could go to a party, and by the end of the party, everybody will have come and talked to me at some point. I don't even have to move, but can tell you about, there's John Doe, he works at such and such. Like, I will have easily found out about people somehow.
Uh,
I'm open
And you're curious.
and I'm curious. Yes, I'm very
Yeah.
curious. Yes.
So what do you need to know from the dentist to determine if they're qualified?
What their production is,
Yeah.
what their goals are, what have they done in the past that worked, that didn't work, and what do they really want to get out of it? Like, what do you do? Is it because you want to buy a brand new car, or is it because you want to take 3 weeks vacation, or is it because you want to buy a new equipment? What is it that you want to market for? Like, why do you need new patients? Do you want to sell the practice? Are you going to retire?
Yeah.
Whatever their purpose is.
And what else do they need? Do they need social proof to see other dentists near them that are using it or
We provide exclusivity. So that was another thing that makes our
um,
company stand out against the competition. So we really allow our clients to stand out against the competition. We don't let anybody else use our marketing in the same proximity.
and
First
do
come,
you
first serve.
so that must be a huge selling tool then.
I like to use it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Curious and evil.
And- Ooh.
Yeah. That's interesting. Now, how do you do that in a big metropolitan area, though? You keep it like
Everything I
certain.
do is by phone.
I mean, by like, how do you keep it exclusive? Is it by zip code or?
Zip code, carrier walk routes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what size deals are these? Give us a sense of that.
I don't sell great big deals. Like
Yeah.
an average program will be about $37,000 a year.
Wow. That's still pretty big.
It's pretty big, but I mean, they're going to buy equipment that costs 200 and 300,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're
And,
getting a significant return on that, it's a really good investment. Minimum
and
3 to 1.
3 to 1.
Minimum.
So why wouldn't they do it?
They don't believe it. Sometimes they just don't believe that they'll see that return.
Okay.
And and the investment's done on a monthly basis. It's not even like we take the money up front. They pay as they mail
Yeah.
or digitally, whatever kind of marketing we're doing.
Is there a way to prove it to them without?
Yes.
Okay. How do you
Yes,
do
we
that?
have a fabulous dashboard that our company has designed and created themselves. It's a dashboard unique to Patient News.
Yeah.
And so that dashboard is connected to their practice management software system. So we're able to cross-reference address as well as have the call tracking number on the marketing. So when they phoned, we can listen to the call, score the call, provide them feedback completely on how the office is handling the call and whether that patient came in for an appointment. So we can give them direct calculation return on investment.
Yeah.
And still it's hard to sell.
Because there are a lot of listeners that do sell into doctors. And I had coffee with a guy who sold equipment into
Hmm.
doctors. So you must be headhunted a lot.
Me?
Yeah. No.
I'm not going to say that on the on this interview.
What would your manager say?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a hugely marketable skill because and it's a hard job.
This is a hard job. It sure
Yeah.
is. It
Right.
absolutely is. 100%.
Because that gatekeeper's getting a lot of calls, emails, and
All kinds, right? And then they have systems put in place where there's automated emails, automated calls, all kinds of things that I'm not necessarily for that. I like to pick up the phone and make a call.
yeah.
Hi, Dr.
No call
Burns.
reluctance?
Not for me.
No.
No.
Ever?
No.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Except for the only place I don't like being on the phone is in my home. Like
Right now.
when I had no, like when I had a landline, which I don't have a landline anymore, but when I had a
Yeah.
landline, the kids were home and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
never answered the phone. It could be ringing and ringing and ringing, and everybody answer the phone. I'd be like, nah, I don't want to answer it.
And
But business, no problem.
the rejection doesn't bother you?
No,
No.
no, I feel that I need to. If I'm getting rejected, it's okay. What did I say wrong, or what did I not say properly to get through to that caller? Like you had a gentleman the other day. It was that quiz or that question you asked. Do you like to
Win?
win, or are
Hate
you afraid
losing?
of losing?
Yeah.
And so mine was, and all my family's in sales. So I said to my brother, I said, so what do you prefer? Would you rather, are you more for the win in sales, or I hate to lose? Both of us are for the win. I'd rather win. I want to win. I want to
Yeah.
win at the sale because there's a lot of losing already, right? You have to be able to handle that lose. So if I just hated losing, I don't think I could be in sales because you're losing all the time. You can't be winning all the time.
Yeah. Well, certainly in prospecting, there's a ton of losing, but
Yes,
you
right.
know, like say you invest a month or two in a particular deal and you lose to a competitor.
Oh, then I'd be so mad at myself.
Oh,
Oh
so you
yeah.
don't like losing?
No, I don't. I don't really like losing. No,
Right.
especially if
Yeah.
I've invested time.
I mean that question, because I got a lot of responses
I
about
bet
it.
you did.
Yeah, and it's a personal thing, right? It's
Yeah.
whatever motivates you is what
Yeah. Yeah.
matters,
Yeah.
you
Now, I
know. And
don't like losing when it comes to competitions, if you
yeah,
will. So my kids, they get very frustrated with me because they're telling me that I'm always selling them on everything. Like, stop selling me. As I'm not selling you. Or if we go to play a game together and they're like, I want to win it. I don't care that you're my kid. I want to win it. And they're like, why do you always win? I said, why would you play a game to lose? I don't get that. Like, I go into something to win it, not to lose
yeah,
it. But I'm a good loser if I had to be.
you get over it.
Yeah, I get over it.
And so how would you say your day is divided between like prospecting and working on real deals that are in progress?
I should be doing a lot more prospecting. I know that that's an area that the management probably has a challenge with me, but it's the numbers that I produce in the end. I'm the top producer, have been for 14 years. So, I mean, I'm bringing in the bacon, if you will, the way that I bring it in, like sometimes double what other execs bring in. So they don't hound me that way. But I should be making more calls than I do. So if the average sales exec in our company makes 1,000 calls, I make 200.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I just,
it's just smarter.
I pick and choose. That's what I say.
Right.
I say I'm a smarter. I'm picking and choosing who, but that's because I'm closing as well.
That's it. Because I would rarely see the grinder, the person who makes 1,000 calls, be the top rep.
Yeah.
Almost never.
It's just like spinning to me.
Right. Because the human brain just naturally tries to find easier and easier ways to get the pellet. Right.
Right. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Exactly.
it just doesn't keep hitting the bar if nothing's coming
Yeah.
out.
Duh, duh.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
goes to find another thing to hit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think
Exactly.
managers don't get that because
Sometimes.
they think that they're all the same, and that's not
Yeah.
true.
No, it's so not true.
Right.
Yeah.
You find the people that will talk to you, that you
Right.
work with,
Yeah.
that
And I'll go through the system and read the notes and read the website and just for whatever instinctual feeling, call that particular client.
but there's probably more than just an instinct. It's probably an instinct now, but you had to develop it, right?
Yes.
At
Yeah, yeah.
first,
Mhm. Mhm.
you probably, what drove you there was that the calling wasn't as effective as it should be. Like, who's
Right.
most likely?
Yeah, who's most likely?
Yeah.
Keep them high on the list.
And do you work like in an office with other reps, or you're at home?
I was at home for 2 years, where I am right now sitting, and I have a great office because I live on 2 acres on a lake. So I'm looking at the lake right now as I talk to you. But the office is only 5 kilometers away.
Yeah.
So I have a space in the office as well. I
And,
prefer to be here because there's no noise, there's
no,
nothing.
right.
Yeah.
And when you look at other reps or you hear other reps, how would you differentiate yourself?
I think I'm uh, slower, listening, having a conversation, not selling,
Yeah.
and not just rambling. Like I know that another one of your conversations about the reading from a script. Like we all learn the script, but you don't read it.
Read the script. Right.
You just know it and you
Yeah.
learn it. You just make it innate so that when you have that conversation, it doesn't sound like you're reading from a script. But you
Yeah.
sure need to know the script in order to make to say the proper things. And that's where when I challenge myself, when I don't close a deal, it's like, okay, what am I not saying right? Like where did I fall short there? What did I say? What didn't I say? And thank goodness our calls are all recorded. So I can go back and listen to the call and make adjustments to my um, sales pitch.
How often do you do that?
I'll listen to calls probably every other day. A call
Wow.
that I've made, yeah,
Yeah.
just to hear how I sound, because you all hate your own voice, or most people do. But it was like, man, that was a good call. I want to listen to that again. Like I really like listening to the good ones as much as the bad ones.
I think just doing it is so great,
Hmm.
right? Because otherwise we just get too comfortable with what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah,
We've got to like
exactly.
a little bit of polish, a little bit of,
Yes.
reinforcement of the good things and the
Of the
bad things to fix the bad things.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I love listening to podcasts all the time. Like podcasts were the greatest invention to me.
Do you have a favorite?
What's his name again? Brian somebody?
Joe Rogan, that bastard.
Yeah, so podcasts, I try to read a lot. I'm always trying to hone my skill. I love to go to seminars that are not rah rah sis boom bah,
Yeah.
because that's for the time. And then you leave, and then,
It
but
goes
I did do them.
dissipates. Yeah.
Yeah, but I did do them very early on in my career. I went to a lot of things that were rah rah sis boom bah, but sales seminars are awesome. Learning from different sales techniques, even if I take away a nugget, I find that very valuable.
Yeah. Was there any real epiphany in your career in sales where you went from just okay, then all of a sudden you got it, you found a groove?
No, you know what? That's a funny thing because I don't consider myself like if you were to ask me, Are you a great salesperson?" I'm like, no, I like sales. I just love sales and I've always been doing it. But if you talk to other people, they would say, "Oh my God, you're so good in sales. Like you could sell snow to the Eskimos. Like you're really good in sales." So I think I've just been a people person my whole life. I've always enjoyed the challenge of winning something, and then out of that is really there's an underlying sales skill to everything you do, no matter what job you're doing. And I think I just excelled at it. And I think just being a people person is the main thing.
But you're also a top performer,
Yes.
producer, right? But
Yes.
that's what's great. That's the definition of what's great in sales, right? Because if you
Yes.
not just 1 month, but
No, no,
consistently,
consistently. Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
definition of
I
it.
do not like being number two in sales.
Yeah, you're competitive.
Yeah, I'm competitive.
Where'd you get that?
I think 'cause my whole family is in sales. Like
Yeah,
my father was in sales, he owned his own real estate company. And my brothers and sister, we're all in sales.
yeah. A lot of great reps have that history. I don't know whether it's osmosis about being around salespeople, or if there might be some,
And I think it's an innate characteristic and
maybe,
character of some people. Like you see some families that are pilots. I mean, there'd be
or
four people in the family are
musicians
pilots.
or
Yeah, or musicians,
architects or
artists,
whatever.
whatever.
Cool.
Sales leaders.
Yeah. Hey, it's been a great conversation. Where can people go to follow you?
Oh gosh. Well, I am on LinkedIn, as you know, and it's
I
just
do.
Patty Lou Robinson. I don't have any special name. And otherwise, that's it.